Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting episode of Paul Brown Show. This evening, my guest will be Senator Malcolm Graham. He's a candidate for the North Carolina Congressional 12th District seat. How you doing there, Senator Graham?
I'm great. I'm glad to be back with you today.
Thank you, sir, for coming back on the show. Why do you want to represent the North Carolina 12th District?
I want to create a better nation. I want to create a nation where if charity and welfare is no longer needed, and that if you're sick and need medical attention, that you can get it. That if you're hungry and you want to be fed, you can get something to eat. That if you're able-bodied and looking for a job, that you can find a job, a good-paying job, a job that pays more than just a minimum wage, but pays a living wage. That if you need shelter from the storm and the rain, that you can get housing and help build and sustainable communities and neighborhoods, and good schools will be provided for all. I just want to go about creating a nation and building a nation starting right here in North Carolina 12th Congressional District. And I believe that if the citizens of Winston-Salem and Greensboro and High Point, Salisbury, Charlotte, and Concord would all work together, we can be an example for the nation and nation building right here in North Carolina's 12th Congressional District. And that's why I want to run for Congress.
For individuals who've been probably in a cave somewhere that doesn't know Senator Malcolm Graham, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I came to Charlotte in 1981 on a tennis scholarship from Johnson C. Smith University. Met my wife on campus. She was a freshman. I was a senior at the time, and we dated for 4 years, and she graduated 4 years later in May. We got married that November, and we've been married now for some 26 years. 2 daughters. My oldest is a junior at Winston-Salem State University, Courtney, and my youngest is a sophomore at Fayetteville State University. I work at Johnson C. Smith University today. I'm Special Assistant to the President for Community Engagement and Government Affairs and responsible for the revitalization of the West Trade Street, Batesville Road corridor in terms of the areas around the university. I served for 6 years on the Charlotte City Council and did a lot of good work there, helped build an arena, bring the CIAA tournament to Charlotte, helped transform Piedmont Courts into Siegel Points. Piedmont Court, as you know, was crime and drug infested, right. And we transformed that community, helped put the transit in place, and now we're building a $485 million transit line up from Uptown Charlotte to the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. I'm serving my 10th year, believe it or not, Paul, as a member of the North Carolina State Senate. And I chair the Mecklenburg delegation, and we did some good work in the state senate, passing comprehensive gang legislation, keeping our kids away from gang and gang violence, as well as putting tougher penalties in place for those who recruit our kids to being in gangs. Led a 2-day town hall meeting in Charlotte, the Charlotte Mecklenburg African American Agenda, where we talked about building an agenda for the African American community right here in Charlotte, and identified 3 priority areas in terms of education, healthcare, and economic development. And as a result of that summit, was able to get a $500,000 Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation grant for the Charlotte Mecklenburg school system. So I've been working in this community for the last 25 years trying to build a better community.
You've done a great job, Senator Graham. What does this vast amount of experience in politics, why does this make you so important right now for this position?
Well, I think I'm uniquely qualified for the and you used the word position, but I use a different word, the job.
Okay.
I'm not really interested in the position of a congressman. I really want the job. And I want to wake up every morning and go to work on behalf of the citizens of the 12th Congressional District. I think my experience as a nonprofit executive director, a corporate leader, an educator at Johnson C. Smith University, a former member of the Charlotte City Council, and a state senator gives me a unique perspective to go to Washington, D.C. prepared and ready than most of my opponents. And so I think experience matters. Congressman Watt has represented this district with distinction for 22 years. And you don't replace someone with that much experience with someone with none. I come with a host of experience, ready and prepared to be the next congressman serving and working for the citizens of the 12th Congressional District.
Some of the issues that I would like to discuss that I've gotten is education. Why is that a great equalizer?
Well, it is. It's just like you said. Education is the great equalizer. It's the foundation for economic development. It's the foundation for getting a good job for our youngsters. So Obviously, I'm a big advocate of education. I think how we deliver public education in America has to change. It already has changed. I think we need to have great public institutions in terms of making sure that we give teachers a honest day's pay for honest day's work, that we give them resources that they need to be successful, like teachers' assistants and guidance counselors and school nurses, that we cap the number of students that can be in the classroom, that the federal government play a bigger role in terms of how public education is delivered by helping school systems and state with school construction and other amenities. So I think that's really important. I don't think we should run away from the topics of charter schools. Charter schools are public institutions as well. They give another alternatives for parents who are looking for a way to educate their kids. And I think we ought to focus primarily on STEM education. These are the jobs of the 21st century: science, technology, engineering, and math, making sure that our students are prepared in those 4 core areas. And then lastly, as I was saying earlier today, vocational education is so important. Some kids do not want to go to college, and that's okay. But there are a number of trades and work that they can do that does not require a college education, does require training in those specific fields, in like plumbing or electrician or painting. Those lead to entrepreneurship, where folks can open up their own shops and make a good living. So I think how we talk about education in America, how we deliver public education in America has already changed. And as your next congressman, I will embrace those changes and begin to articulate why those things are so important for our community.
Being that you're at Johnson C. Smith so much, what are some of the issues that the students may address to yourself?
Well, the first thing is college affordability. Malcolm, tuition is high. I mean, I have to find a way to pay this $24,000 a year tuition, whether it's Johnson C. Smith University or any other college or university where the tuition is a cost. And so students today are worried about how to pay for their college education, and college affordability is a major issue. What they're also talking about is making sure that once they get this college education and they can pay for it, that they can get a job once they leave school. And so making sure that they are ready and prepared once they graduate from Johnson C. Smith or North Carolina A&T, Winston-Salem State, Salem College, Wake Forest, UNCC, and that these kids are prepared for the workforce. Obviously, I mean, because the workforce has changed so significantly, I always advocate for graduate schools for those who desire to do so. But for those who don't, making sure that after they spend 4 years in a college of higher learning, that they are prepared and ready for the workforce, and workforce preparedness has to be a part of the college factor today.
As far as the growth of our education, where does it start? Does it start like the high school level or down with the kindergarten, the little children?
No, it starts even further than that. It starts at home. I mean, I think education for our kids start at home, and that parents and mothers and fathers, or single mothers, single fathers, grandparents, the fundamental foundation for a quality education for any kid starts in that home. And so we need to make sure that we don't run away from the topic of family and how families support one another and how that translates into a kid getting a good education. Certainly, I believe that K through 3, kindergarten through 3rd grade, are the most critical years for educating our kids, and I want to invest heavily in those type of programs from the state level as well as the federal level, to making sure that these early start programs are funded at the appropriate level and that they're meaningful. And then, from that point, from that, the basis of the education they're getting at home, the basis of that early childhood education from K to 3, and more importantly, when I was growing up, a part of the education process didn't stop on Friday when school let out, but there was also Sunday school. Yes. And what we learn in church, and the lessons we learn outside of the classroom, and the lessons that we learn outside the classroom, the lessons of life, the lessons of financial literacy and how to manage your money and how to get along with people, and lessons that we learn in the Bible, all those things help create a citizen, a child with a quality education, and all the wraparound service that goes along with it. Starts at home, Paul.
Another issue that we have is unemployment. How do you feel we need to solve this problem?
Well, I think the first thing the state of North Carolina need to do is accept the unemployment benefits that the federal government has sent down. As you know, one of the first bills that the Republican-led General Assembly took up last year was reducing unemployment benefits for those who need it the most, those who are chronically unemployed. And that makes no sense at all. At that time, North Carolina was the third highest unemployment rate in the country, and yet we said we don't want unemployment benefits for our citizens. Makes no sense. So we need to, help those who are chronically unemployed get the benefits that they have earned and paid for through their taxes. Secondly, we need to make sure that the community colleges are funded at the appropriate level. Many of the citizens who are unemployed need to be retrained and retooled, and the best place for that to occur is our community colleges throughout North Carolina. So we need to make sure that the community college system is funded at the appropriate level, and that those individuals who need retooling and retraining can go back to college at an affordable rate to get the services that they need. And then secondly, I want to invest in small business owners and small businesses, because small business owners hire more people than major corporations combined. So we need to make sure that we have a healthy, strong, and viable small business class so they can in turn hire more people and get people up off the unemployment rolls, and foster and encourage an environment where entrepreneurship is embraced, and that those who find themselves unemployed, they have the skills within themselves to open and start their own business and create wealth for themselves.
And that's another issue I was going to discuss. Individuals going out and starting their own business. Why is it so important that we have that type of mentality that we can be a business owner?
Well, economic opportunity is part of the promise of the American dream, and that dream becomes a reality for those who make the sacrifice and the investment in starting their own business. And so certainly, and because the economy has changed, and folks don't go to work for IBM for 25 years anymore, or go to work for some of these major companies, and they have one job. People change jobs on a 2, 3, 4, 5 times now over the course of a lifetime. And so entrepreneurship is a great avenue for those individuals who have the skill sets. I would love to see Johnson C. Smith University, as an example, that has a entrepreneurship major where those 4 years they're teaching kids how to start, operate their own business, and upon graduation, they open up their own shop. I mean, it's the same skill sets that they learn to leave at Johnson C. Smith and go work for somebody else, they can use those same skill sets to open up their own business and work for themselves. We need to encourage that in our community. We need to make sure that the Small Business Administration is there to provide access to capital and marketing help and all those things that's needed to put a small business owner in a place where they can do good for themselves. And if they do good for themselves, then they reinvest those resources back into the community.
And why is it so important that we research? Because there are programs that's available to help small business programs.
I managed one for 10 years. I was the executive director for the Carolinas Minority Supplier Development Council, and what we did was help major corporations identify minority business owners for business opportunities with one another. So there are a number of programs out there. The Small Business Administration does a great job. SCORE, which is retired executives that invest their times back into helping those individuals who want to open their business. You just got to take the time to do the research, and you have to be very focused about it. And sometimes you're going to get knocked down as a business owner, but you got to get back up. But the resources, the answers are out there. Anything that a small business owner is trying to do, someone else has already done it. So now you just got to go out there and ask the right questions, do the right researches, make the right investment, and I think you'll be successful. Hard work, no doubt about it, but I think that's certainly an avenue for business success and a way to enhance and grow our community.
Another issue is the Voting Rights Act. Why is this such an important thing for us to use, Alva?